Capacity crowd out here at Lang Park today for this match, and they're ready to go. Believe you me, they've given both teams quite a reception, particularly the Brisbane Broncos, who are out there ready to roll. And there's the man who's in charge today, Eddie Ward, who's got this job, and he should have a fair job in his hands out there today, David Wright.
Yes, an honour for Eddie Ward to pick up this one. There was some controversy earlier in previous seasons about Ward handling Broncos matches. This is now 2 in a row. He did the job against St George last week.
All right, ready for the kick-off, and that's Dale Shearer putting it deep downfield. It'll go over the head of Ricky Stewart. He touched it, it goes into touch of the in-goal area.
Bad start this for Canberra. Ricky Stewart wipes the ball, maybe a bit of grease on, but they couldn't handle a beautiful kick downfield. And Brisbane with a chance to go straight on the attack. From replay, from behind, Stewart tries to take it. Perhaps would have been better off letting it go through to Martin, but he didn't. And a chance for Brisbane from the goal line drop out.
So it'll be Stewart, and you can bet he'll give this a... Well, it's not quite as long downfield as we imagined it might have been. But anyway, taken back there by Alan Langer. Got it back to Jackson. Was knocked over quite heavily, and he's hurt. He's hurt in that tackle.
Well, Jackson came through to run off Alan Langer, and he's in trouble.
He was motoring through it great. Lost over there by Gavin Allen. It'll be a Canberra ball. 30 metres out from their own line. Very heavy bump. You might remember Jackson got a heavy one in the State of Origin. Matter of fact, talking to you after the match, he didn't know where he was for about the second half of the match.
Well, he's got the same feeling right now, Bill. He's back in the line, but he could be anywhere. He could be at Bruce Stadium.
Oh, Disneyland anywhere. You've got it. Now penalty coming up to Canberra.
Well, shows a good side, Canberra. They were immediately under pressure from the kick-off after that era, but they've answered it straight away. Some beautiful defence. One on Jackson, another one a little bit later on to lose the ball. Now they brought the ball back out of their own territory. They get the penalty, and they're back on track.
Well, when Gavin Allen lost it, that was the turning point for them. They're able to do something from there. So Tony Durkin's down on the touchline as Lazarus takes it up. Durko, conditions down your way.
Well, as you said, Bill, at the start, a magnificent atmosphere here at Lang Park. Not probably quite State of Origin atmosphere yet, but I'm sure as the game unfolds, that will happen. In fact, all reserve seats sold last Monday. 1,900 went on sale this morning. People were lined up from 9 o'clock, and they went in about half an hour. There is some prediction of rain coming in. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But the condition of Lang Park, as usual, is first class.
Here's Big Mel Meninga taking it up the centre. Centre back inside to Lazarus. Lazarus is going to be taken back there by Walters, who came in first. That's Kerrod Walters. And he led the charge to be backed up by Dowling and Gavin Allen. Here's the kick through by Ricky Stewart. Coming across is Shearer. It'll bounce back. You'll see it back over the dead ball line, kicking on the fourth tackle there.
That's the experience of Shearer there. He didn't rush into things. He could have attempted to pick up the ball in the in-goal area. Watch him here as he puts his hands down to try and get it, then decides, has a look at the dead ball line, assesses things beautifully. Good experience. That's why he's playing fullback today and not the younger fellow, Paul Hoff.
Kerrod Walters got it outside to Miles, taken and then got up and started to go again. Put down about 30 metres out from his own line. Well, Tim Sheen said that one of the things they were going to be watching and working on is stopping Kerrod Walters from dummy half. We'll just see how they go on that one.
Yes, you're right, Bill. And another fellow that really a lot of the hopes the Broncos hinge on, I believe, is Greg Dowling. He must have a big one today.
Gene Miles looking across field, was going to pass it before he had the ball. It's a great kick under the conditions. Gary Belcher got a finger to it, and he picks it up inside the in-goal area. Can Alan Langer get him? No, he can't, but gee, it's a nice heavy tackle coming in from Walters to put him over.
Good run from Belcher. No fancy footwork there. He just decided he had to get the ball out of the in-goal area and ran straight.
So it's Canberra down on their own line. They'll attempt to run it out from there. And that's what they do with Todd taking up first up. Mark Hone is down on the halfway mark, receiving some attention after a strong run downfield. This is Stewart kicking through again. On the fourth tackle once again, as Shearer goes back, he'll eventually cut it off just short of that touchline. Straight ahead, into Martin. And also coming into it this time was Laurie Daly.
Mark Hone still getting attention, and another 6 Broncos still slow to get back. It's most of the forward pack.
Michael Hancock works across field, but going to be driven back there by Lazarus for the penalty.
Inside the 5 metres, a delayed penalty, this one really. And Eddie Ward deciding the penalty should go to Brisbane. Perhaps that one wasn't for inside the 5 metres because the penalty was actually given at the play the ball and not back on the 5. So penalty going to Brisbane, a chance for them to go on the attack.
So Peter Jackson seems to be okay as he lines up to take this kick for a touch and bringing play up at the moment to some 20 metres inside Canberra territory. So Kerrod Walters moves on to the mark to take the tap. Across over there to Dowling. He takes them head on. Gary Coyne comes in with a tackle. Walters to Gavin Allen. Charging up again, just over the quarter line before he's put down. Lazarus led the charge. Coyne was there too. Now to Mark Hone. Charging straight up the centre again. A good strong run by Hone. Kerrod Walters directing it from dummy half. Which way will he go? He'll go the blind side, the left side. Out to Gene Miles via the hands of Alan Langer. Gino cutting back inside. Got it away to Jackson. Try!
Great stuff from the Broncos. 3 charging forward rucks to take it into midfield. Hit it back to blind side. Alan Langer, Gene Miles. Miles stood in the tackle from a step back on the inside. Peter Jackson storming up the middle. The pass was flat. Let's have a look at it. This is the 4th ruck from the tap move. Miles decides to take them on. Brushes away from Todd. There's the pass up. Could have been forward for mine. Eddie Ward didn't think so. Peter Jackson in right beside the post. From head on like this. The pass from Langer to Miles. He cuts back on the inside. Brent Todd can't handle him. This is the advantage of Miles. There's the pass up to Jackson. And Eddie Ward thought that was okay. That's points for Brisbane.
That slide defence, the opportunities are often on the inside if a player can manage to turn the ball back inside, where players are sometimes slow to trail across, and Peter Jackson there, he'd love to score that try against Canberra. He's had a trouble last couple of weeks, and he made a few statements last week. He had to put up or shut up, and that's certainly what Action's done. He's had a fine start to the match.
Yes, what a game it's been. He is, as we mentioned, against his old club. And now Dale Shearer, a vital kick. 86 points for the season for Dale Shearer. He makes that 88, and the Broncos lead after 5 minutes here at Lang Park by 6 points to 0. Well, that is a superb kick into the breeze, taking play to 30 metres out from the Brisbane Broncos line. You'll see where Canberra will try and storm straight back into this match. Brisbane have never beaten them in the previous 2 outings of the Winfield Cup in 88 and 89, going down by a record 36-16 in 1988 and 27-6 last year at the Seaford Oval. Now Coyne, wrapped up, loses the football. It's picked up by Brent Todd. Fresh back from that international duty against Great Britain for New Zealand, but a penalty.
Must be a swinging arm.
That is stupid stuff.
Yes, especially in this position on the field. Brisbane were defending well. Greg Dowling has been caught. There's the pass back from Stephen Walters. Coyne loses it backwards onto the ground. Picked up quickly, though, by the Raiders. Brent Todd it is. 3 players come in on him. Let's have a look at Dowling. He'll be the 3rd man in, just on the edge of camera there. Swinging right arm.
Well, Mal Meninga, 100 points for the season. And the captaincy last week for Australia against Parks. Let's go touchline once again with Tony Durkin.
The veteran Canberra winger John Ferguson receiving some treatment from the trainer. I spoke to him before the game. He looked very, very edgy, John Ferguson. I asked him what the problem was. He said he was nervous. That would seem almost unrealistic for a man of his age and experience. I think he might be carrying an injury.
Okay, well, Meninga with a vital kick inside the quarter line. He's kicked 32 goals for the year so far. He moves in. He's struck it beautifully. He knows how to kick goals here at Lang Park. He's opened the scoring for Canberra, and Brisbane still lead by 6 points to 2. Dale Shearer now with the restart of play. A 4-point lead to the Broncos. And around about 9.5 minutes of play gone here at Lang Park. Taken by Gary Belcher, today playing in his 101st grade game for the Raiders, but he's met with a big reception there. A tremendous bit of defence from Peter Jackson against his old clubmate Gary Belcher. Well, Billy, old clubmate at Canberra and also here at Southern Suburbs, and they had their big reunion here on Friday night.
Yeah, very big crowd, around about 500 they tell me out there. 3 former Test captains from the club were there, and a host of people, and they had a great time. Well, you mentioned, David, that the Broncos haven't beaten Canberra before, but I tell you what, this is the most positive start they've made in any of the clashes to date.
They're certainly looking good, Brisbane. They'll really be tested, though, in the defensive department. That's a good play, Brisbane.
And they got caught there, Belcher, but he got it back eventually over there to Ricky Stewart. Stewart puts a left foot kick in, and it's out on the full. That's what pressure does to him. Congratulations, Wayne Bennett. Dead set play there from Brisbane to make sure they were going to cover that double pass from the ruck. Here's silly play from Canberra. A chance for Brisbane to put 2 points on. And Stephen Walters has been marched for 5 minutes. So he's off, said something to referee Eddie Ward, and away he goes.
To the applause of both Kerrod and Stephen and Kevin on the Broncos side, Bill, both applauding the brother that's leaving the field.
Well, I suppose you can do it in the heat of the day.
And I know that Sandra and Kevin, their parents from Ipswich, are in the crowd here today watching it, so mixed emotions for them today.
I bet it is.
Pretty tough sentence there for Steve Walters. He did prematurely strike at the ball that Gene Miles was attempting to play, and then Miles objected to that and gave him a bit of a cuff. Eddie Ward also objected and sent him to the sin bin for 5.
So Dale Shearer now looking for another 2-pointer for the Brisbane Broncos. Beautiful conditions out here at Lang Park now. Sun shining through, as you can see. The wind has dropped away quite a bit. It was earlier today quite gusty, but it's settled down beautifully, and probably settled down as much as the Brisbane Broncos have in the opening stanza of this match. Very positive start by them. 1 from 1 at the moment. And for one of the few times we've seen someone such as Gary Belcher put under pressure, and so too was Ricky Stewart. So now Shearer. The crowd will let you know what the story is here, I can tell you that. There's the kick from behind. It's right through the centre. Another 2-pointer for the Broncos. They have a lead at the moment of 8 points to 2. Mal Meninga sends it down. Tony Durkham down on the touchline. You've got a bit of activity down there with the reserves at this stage.
Well, there may be a brilliant start by the Broncos, but already the 2 fresh reserves, Alan Cann and Paul Hoff, are warming up on the sideline for the Broncos.
Well, we'll wait and see what the outcome of that is, but obviously there's no one injured out there, David. Can you spot anyone that's not up to the mark at the moment?
Well, I can't, Bill, but I think that the only way Bennett would be making a replacement would be for injury, and Brisbane would hope that it's only a headwind situation, not total replacements.
So here's Alan Langer with it. He gets it across to Peter Jackson. Jackson trying to get through. He got away from Meninga. Good piece of work. Hang on to it, Jacko. Don't get too cheeky.
Jacko will remind Mal Meninga of that one tonight.
Okay, back it comes to Dowling. Dowling outside to Langer. Langer got it away to Kevin Walters, cutting up the centre. Looking around for support. He's got his brother beside him. Broke out of the tackle. He sends it over the top. It's knocked down by Canberra. He regathers. He's okay, and it's another 6 tackles. Plenty of pressure on. Players right out to the left. A quick play. The ball will do the job. Langer starts to run through the gap. Dummy still going out, and Langer couldn't get the pass away. They've got a few tackles to work with, so hang on and go from here. Away from dummy half is Johns. Johns sends it away to Langer. Langer to Dowling. Dowling outside to Miles. Picked up over there by Walters to Shearer. Shearer will get it away, and Willie Carnes in the corner, and that is a try.
Sensational try by the Brisbane Broncos. Well, we reckon Canberra can play attacking football. No one can play it better than that. Kevin Walters, a beautiful breakdown field after good interchange of passes. Brisbane didn't panic. Couple of rucks. They didn't have to panic. They got a restart of the tackle count. This is good passing. Miles beautifully picked up there. Kevin Walters again. Fires it out. Shearer could have scored it himself. He thought he'd help Willie Carnes for a bit of extra room. Brisbane are playing well. Chris Johns couldn't be knocked to the ground here. Stands in the tackle. Langer fires it up. Now Dowling under pressure. Quick hands good. There's Miles, does the same sort of thing. Picked up nicely, Kevin Langer. Out to Dale Shearer. Shearer hands it on to Willie Carnes. That is a great team try. It went length of the field in 4 passes.
Well, there's Willie Carnes, the try scorer. 9 tries in 9 games for the Brisbane Broncos. But as you say, David, Dale Shearer, beyond doubt, could have scored it himself.
He played his 11th Test match last week against France at Parks. A class footballer. No doubt looking for his second Kangaroo tour later this year. At this stage, an absolute certainty. There's the kick from Dale Shearer. That's waved away, so the perfect record broken. 2 from 3, and the Broncos lead by 12 points to 2.
Bill, they are a brilliant attacking side. Brisbane have not got a mortgage on this match by any means. Possession is going to be critical.
Yes, you can't put them out of the game at this stage. Back over there then to Todd. Todd to just inside the halfway mark.
Feature of the match, Bill, we've had 20 minutes and yet to have a scrum in the match.
So Coyne sending it back to Lance, who really didn't know whether he's going to get it or not. Then to O'Sullivan. He's put over just inside the Broncos territory. Mal Meninga. Back over to Stewart. Oh, Daly's lost it. By golly. They're all here to look all right.
Well, they're a bit shell-shocked, the Raiders. They're not used to this sort of pressure being applied to them. Laurie Daly, the ball straight in the breadbasket and straight out the bottom.
So the scrum to pack down, the very first one of the match, with Alan Langer to feed, some 8 metres inside Canberra territory.
Billy, this has got shades of the way that Parramatta attacked Canberra just a few weeks ago in Friday Night Football and got away with that game by 17 points to 8.
Here's a pass to no one. Kevin Walters had to go back and dive on top of it. Dale Shearer steps up the centre. Was going all right, but got the pass back there to Madison, and Madison weaving his way up through the centre to be tackled by O'Sullivan. Jared Walters back to home. The defence up to the task on this occasion, led off by Walters. It's Steve Walters, Kieran Walters, To Langer, Kevin Walters. Oh, beautifully to Johns. Johns has got Kevin Walters inside of him, gets it away and shut the gate. Another one on the board for the Broncos.
Great stuff, Brisbane. Once again, they're creating those gaps on the outside. Canberra haven't got an answer. I think Mal Meninga was slipped there. What a satisfied look that man has got. He's coached both these teams. He's in charge of this one at the moment, and they're showing how football is to be played. Have a look at this as he slips Mal Meninga on the outside. Chris Johns wouldn't stumble to the ground either. Determination to stay on his feet. Got to Belcher. Kevin Walters in support play this time, and he's played extremely well so far, Kevin Walters. The number 6 for Brisbane has been outstanding. Let's have a look at it again. Back on this blind side of the ruck. Quick ball movement on the fringe of the rucks. Meninga not in good position to make the tackle. John slips around the outside, gets to Belcher, back on the inside. Kevin Walters, Brisbane in for their third try.
I think the irony of that, Bill, he was a member of the grand final squads at Canberra in 87 and 89. That is his first try for the Brisbane Broncos. He's played in every match so far in the Winfield Cup this year. The irony, scoring against his old club and his brother. I think he would have been delighted with the result of that.
Well, I think he's not the only one that would be delighted. There's some 32,000 people here are extremely delighted. So, as David Wright said, they are shell-shocked, the Canberra team. They're down in the in-goal area, in the huddle. And there's not a great deal of action down in that part of the world at this stage. 2 from 4 for Dale Shearer. There's the kick. It is good, and the Broncos scoot away with a lead of 18 points to 2.
And a little over 10 and a half minutes remain to half-time. This is a vital time of the game for both teams. If Canberra are going to come into this ball game, they're going to want to put points on in this final 10. And, of course, Brisbane, the last thing they want to do is allow Canberra back into the ball game. It'll go to Langer. He threw the dummy, taken by Big Lazarus in the tackle. He's 10 metres short of the halfway line. Dowling, Allen, thought of the options, decided to hang on to the football.
And that's happened a few times, Fordo. Brisbane aren't throwing silly passes. They're calculating.
That's a beautiful pass. Walters to Dowling. Michael Hancock juggles it into touch.
Well, Hancock, I think, was surprised when the pass came from Dowling. He timed it perfectly, Greg Dowling. The ball has not been thrown forward there. And just at the last minute, the pass coming, or the ball coming around behind Martin, Hancock was surprised.
Especially we're talking about Peter Jackson a short time ago. I was watching him walking back. I don't think he's 100% over there. He was bent over on a couple of occasions. So he did get a heavy knock early. Now penalty coming up to Canberra.
Brisbane inside the 5 metres at the base of the scrum. Peter Jackson was the offender. Eddie Ward goes right to the spot where the offence occurred. Here is a chance now for Canberra. 9.5 minutes up to half-time. They've had very little attacking ball, if any. Here's a chance to go on the attack.
So they find touch. I tell you what, they haven't been disappointed.
I think for most of them, Billy, money well spent.
Oh, you betcha. At least for a Canberra supporter, he wouldn't be too happy, but it's been a great performance so far, but we still have a long way to go. So does Stewart. Then Lazarus. Mark Hone bounced him off. Eventually Gavin Allen comes back there. He's been in everything today. To Stewart. To Meninga. Meninga gets it away to Daly. He got away from Chris Johns on this occasion. Langer takes him on to Martin. Martin back inside. There are Broncos players everywhere.
Stewart wants it first receiver, looking for the long pass.
Belcher out to Stewart. Stewart flicks it back inside to Meninga. He's going to try and work back in there, but wrestled to the ground by Michael Hancock. Were bulldogged into the ground, actually grabbed him by the jersey and pulled him down. This is Gary Coyne. Vital for Canberra to try and get a try before this half-time break. The final tackle's coming up. Watch for Ricky Stewart. Now he puts in a little grubber kick, but straight to Alan Langer. Alfie breaks away up over the quarter line. He's got away from Martin. He's looking for support. Martin takes him, but can't get him at a touch either. So Kieran Walters to dummy half. Over there to Shearer. Shearer keeps it going to Walters. Then outside to Gene Miles. Trying to take the one-handed one, but he's going to be knocked over from behind by O'Sullivan. Dummy half is Johns. Lost by Gino as he would put a penalty.
Well, Chris O'Sullivan at no stage stepped away from the tackled player. He made it very difficult for Miles to get back to his feet. Here it is. Here he is, comes in with a big hit. And then the elbow over the top. Miles objected a bit. Have a look at this. A bit of pushing and shoving.
Bit of holding of the jersey too.
Still standing over the top there, getting in the road. Miles lost the ball, but it was because O'Sullivan was in the road. Penalty Broncos.
7.5 minutes remaining in this first half, and the Brisbane Broncos with a commanding lead of 18 points to 2. That's not the best kick by Peter Jackson. Well, when Canberra tried to put on some bit of pressure, they put that little kick in, but it went straight to Alan Langer. Here's Dowling breaking away. GD hasn't run this much for 3 years, but it's taken back inside there by Gary Belcher with a loose pass. But Belcher's creamed over the top by Gavin Allen. Dummy half will be Lance. Stewart getting it across over there to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan running back now to Meninga. Meninga getting it on to Daly. Daly working around. He's trying to find somewhere to go. There's nowhere to go. The only place to go will be down into the Lang Park turf.
Good defence, Brisbane. They're coming across as Canberra try and spread the ball, and they're certainly covering all runners.
Meninga, look at it. 3 of them, or 2 eventually finishing off the tackle, but there were 3 or 4 there if we're crying.
Gavin Allen is playing like a man inspired, Bill.
Unbelievable stuff. Out to O'Sullivan on the wide one. Alan Langer goes high for Alfie, so that's around the waist. Belcher to dummy half. This crowd reacting to everything that the team do at the moment. Ricky Stewart. Final tackle coming up.
There's 5 tackles. Canberra gone nowhere. That does not happen very often.
Belcher with a long one downfield. Michael Hancock going back. It's going to beat him into touch, is it? No, he flicks it back inside and then goes back to regather. Some people say you probably shouldn't do that, David.
Yeah, dangerous practice. He had to be very confident that Canberra weren't any closer than what they were. We've seen it happen before with players tap it back on the inside and an opponent just trail through and pick it up.
Well, on a normal day, Canberra would be a chance of being there.
Well, that's right. They've certainly been fairly flat today, Bill, but Brisbane have been brilliant.
Willie Kahn trying to get away from Daly. Daly coming pretty high on that occasion with that swinging arm. Walters to dummy half. He goes up the centre again, looking for support. Oh, he finds Willie Kahn coming through. Kahn bowled over midway between the quarter and halfway, still in Broncos territory. Out to Alan Langer. Langer gets it on to Kevin Walters. He prompts as O'Sullivan comes at him. Gary Coyne is there on the tackle also. This is the final tackle. So off to Alan Langer. He puts the kick downfield. It's racing for touch. It's going to find touch. It's all happening today.
Yeah, neat Brisbane. Got the ball 10 metres out from their try line for this passage of play. Alan Langer there. Didn't go for too much territory. Just angled it. Found touch around about 25 metres out from the Raiders' try line.
So into the final 5 minutes of this first half. The Broncos in the lead by 18-2. Scrum feed by O'Sullivan. It's a Canberra ball by Stewart to O'Sullivan. Then Meninga, straight running, but good defence by Walters. Also in there was Big Gene Miles. Now Stanton, making his first grade debut today. I think he would have been hoping for a happier one. Not that his form hasn't been letting Canberra down. They've just been totally outclassed in this first half with the domination of possession by Brisbane, and they've done some marvellous things with the football.
Gene Miles going in there about 3 tackles in a row, giving them everything.
Yeah, he's led the side very well today, Bill. They've kept very composed. They haven't been forced into many errors, as opposed to Canberra at the other end of the ground.
A real touch of controlled aggression by Brisbane. All the tackles have been shoulder tackles, and Brisbane mean business.
Well, a vital time now for the Raiders, because they have the tap restart 32 out. A test now for the Brisbane defence. Wally Lewis on the touchline. They say the last 5 and the first 5 of the second half, vital times for either side. It's a vital one for Canberra.
Yes, it certainly is, David, but I'm more concerned with how vital it is to Brisbane. As we see Johnny Ferguson streak away, it's a very dangerous time for us here. We've got to be able to hold Canberra out. If they score here, it'll bring not only them a lot closer on the scoreboard, but their confidence level will grow sky high. They're a team that really do play confidently.
And Mal Meninga's come up with the try. Superb ball movement by the Canberra side. They moved it to the right. Ferguson had come from the left wing. Kahn had come across to affect the tackle on the far side. Then they moved the ball left, and it was purely numbers at the end, David, with Mal Meninga finishing off.
Set piece Canberra. That's the second tackle from the tap move they had. They just set forward. They brought it onto this right-hand side. Have a look at this now. Johnny Ferguson is a left winger. This was his positional play. He's got his other winger outside him. Willie Kahn follows his number. There's Kahn making the tackle on his opposing winger on the opposite side of the field. Unfortunately for Willie, they're going to score in his corner because this is part of Canberra's set piece. Ricky Stewart, the long pass. Have a look. There's O'Sullivan. Ricky Stewart then receives beautiful hands. This is what they always had in mind. They're going to create the opportunity. Belcher does well to time the pass correctly. Daly, Meninga, no one at home, Willie Kahn. You can hardly blame him. He decided to follow his opposing number. That is a well-conceived try by the Raiders just when they needed it.
So Mal Meninga comes up with his 10th try of the season and attempts to convert his own try from out near the touchline. There's the kick. It's swinging back around. Absolutely superb conversion by Meninga. The Raiders are back in the ball game. 10 points the difference. And Wally, that's what you were fearing on that far side. When the green machine move into action, anything can happen.
It certainly can, mate. And when you look at that scoreboard now, it's a 12-point difference. It's certainly a lot. It's a 10-point difference. It's a lot different from a 16-point break, especially when you're coming back out in the second half with only a minute and a half to go. I'm sure it's something that Wayne Bennett will be urging our players onto at half-time, the importance of not relaxing just for a couple of minutes. It did turn out to be a very important penalty, didn't it? If the Broncos have got to try and turn something around. It's a huge penalty count that's against us at the moment.
David, we made the mention last week at North Sydney Oval how this Canberra side used every inch of the football field, and that was just a perfect example of how they spread it to the right, and then the quick play of the ball and that long pass from Stewart just set it up for the power of Meninga out wide on the left-hand side.
Yeah, you've got to applaud their play, because even part of their set tap move was they had 3 forwards standing close to the tap, but they passed the ball in behind them. They were never going to use them, but that just held Brisbane in there a little bit. The extra man with Ferguson over here, it was just a well-conceived try. They deserve the points. There's not much a defensive side can do about that when it's so well-conceived.
Willie Kahn's done everything right so far, and he handled that ball superbly. Ferguson was offside.
Well, I think he knew he was offside, Ferguson, because he wouldn't initially have a go at the ball. He was just letting Kahn have a clean shot at it. But then also he was then inside the 5 metres. There's only seconds remaining up to half-time.
Well, the news is from the sideline that Peter Jackson has injured that left shoulder. So that could well mean in the second half that Paul Hoff may come on and Dale Shearer moves up into the centres. We'll check on that during half-time. Willie Kahn.
Have they got a field goal expert from this distance?
Well, they have never kicked a field goal in the Winfield Cup. Dale Shearer has a shot, and it goes wide, and that's how the first half will end. It's been a fabulous 40 minutes, punctuated with 4 superb tries, 3 to Brisbane and 1 to Canberra. At half-time, the Broncos hold a 10-point lead, 18 points to 8, but more spectacular action coming from Lang Park on the other side of this commercial break.
Here's the restart of play with Mal Meninga to set it down over the head of Dowling. It'll carry back to Shearer in the in-goal area, and he'll run it out from there. Cutting right back into the centre of the field before he runs into Gary Coyne. Fights his way up, but is then forced back that little bit. And from the play, the ball now to Miles. Miles up to just short of that quarter line.
Statistics in the first half have been interesting, Bill, as we see Kieran Walls, a good little dash out of the dummy half. Tackles firstly, Brisbane have had to make 81 to Canberra 78. Not much in it. Probably the only interesting one there is Gavin Allen, 16, head and shoulders above any other player on the field, and hasn't he hit them too when he's made those tackles? So Gavin Allen has been a standout player in defence, also in attack, but possession also has been very interesting. Would you believe Canberra have had more ball in the first half than what Brisbane have? 71 to 68. No doubt Brisbane dominated the first 20 minutes. Canberra had the majority in the last 20 of the first half. And here they're going to get a good start to this second half. Not clearing the ruck, Terry Madison. Canberra can go straight on the attack from this penalty.
So here's Tony Durkin down on the touchline.
Well, as you can see, Bill, no changes to either side for the second half. Tim Sheen spoke to his key players individually during the break and then asked for the dressing room to be cleared, and it certainly was. John McIntyre, the president of the club, and everybody went out. So he's obviously taking this very seriously, and that's to be expected. Wayne Bennett asked his players to be as physically and as mentally tough in the second half as they were in the first.
Well, that's exactly what they need, because Canberra sneaking back to 10-point deficit coming into the half-time break was exactly what they needed, and they bring play up now to the quarter line. By the way, a crowd here today of 32,124. Outstanding. That's Mal Meninga. Pushes away Walters. Now he gets it outside to Daly. Walters ran across there, but eventually Chris Johns is going to be the one in the tackle. Meninga to dummy half. Meninga bustling up that blind side, but tackled by Hone. So Martin to Dean Lance. They've been able to settle up their attack this time. But this is the final tackle. So what's for Ricky Stewart? No, he decides to let it go with a long one. Coming out to O'Sullivan. He puts in the little grubber kick. Look at John Ferguson flying through, but it'll be seen over the dead ball line by Willie Kahn.
Well done, Willie Kahn. Didn't once again lose his cool. He just watched the ball go dead. And you watch him here. We might get it on this camera shot as he looks back over his shoulder just to see where the chases are. We won't quite get it, but Willie Kahn had checked to see how close Ferguson was. Let it go dead.
One change coming up already. Tony Durkham.
A very important change too for the Broncos. Peter Jackson, you can see there in the background, working that left shoulder of his, but he's been told to come from the field of play. I don't think he's all that happy about it. In fact, he's still there, but Paul Hoff will be the replacement.
Bill, this is how Canberra like to play it, open football.
And here's Walters starting to work through. He's on his own unless he can link up with someone shortly, but he's still going. He might need any support. He's pulled down a couple of metres out from that line. They've got plenty out on the left. Standing out here is Daly waiting for it. But Ferguson sends it the other way. Stewart to O'Sullivan, then across to Meninga. He props, cuts back inside. Meninga working up the centre, looking around for support. There's Stewart. Stewart's going to be put down and no chance of getting it away. Dummy half Meninga. Canberra put on the pressure. They're not done yet, believe you me. Out there to Stanton. Stanton turns it back inside. Gary Belcher working across field, looking for a hole to go through, but no chance. So now from the play the ball, back to Stewart. Stewart's throw, Mark Hone's there, but he still unloads it. He gets it to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan put over 5 metres out. It is the final tackle. Walters from dummy half. Walters will swing it back to Stewart. There's the little grubber kick. It bounced off a Broncos player, taken by Coyne, and he's in for the try.
Well, Canberra show how it's done. They're a professional outfit. The little grubber kick by Stewart tried to be blocked by Brisbane, and in doing so, straight in the hands of Gary Coyne. Here it is, Ricky Stewart looking for the in-goal area. The foot goes out by Kerrod Walters, straight in the lap of Gary Coyne. That's the start the Raiders wanted to the second half. They played open football, and once again, it takes Gary Belcher to get involved for Canberra to start splitting the opposition. It all started from a kick downfield. Here's Wally Lewis now with the third replay.
Yes, mate, well, it's just a little bit of unfortunate play there. There's not too much the Brisbane guys could do about that. The only thing that you can really do is hope that the bounce favours you, and it certainly wasn't going to favour Brisbane there. Canberra have really got to roll up now. It's up to Brisbane now to really control the football, or control the Canberra's domination of the football for this next set of 6 tackles. What they've got to try and do is hold them as deeply as they can in their own half, try and put some pressure on the kicking game of Gary Belcher or Ricky Stewart, and the next time that the Broncos get the football, try and work themselves into a good field position where they can attack and try and force some pressure on the try line, or else push the ball in behind the in-goal line to try and force the drop kick back out.
Certainly a test of the Broncos' mettle now as Meninga comes in. He's kicked the goal and added the extra 2 points. So little separates the two teams at this crucial stage of this round 14 clash of the Winfield Cup. Canberra have come out breathing fire in the second half. Worrying time for the Broncos.
It is worrying at times, David. What we've got to do at the moment is just make sure that our defensive line moves up in one straight defensive shield, I suppose. They really have been moving up a little bit out of alignment, and the Canberra guys have been managing to slip the odd pass away, which has been troubling our fellas. But what we've got to manage to do more than anything else is make yardage with the football. We just saw in that last set of 6 tackles where the ball was popped back from Kevin Walters to Greg Dowling. We made in total about 11 yards in 5 rucks, so that's not good enough. Canberra are really making about 25 to 35 every time they ruck the ball. So we've really got to try and make some yards and then get a long kicking game in and try and hold Belcher as deeply as we can in his own territory.
Just saw a shot of Tim Sheen. Should be a lot happier with things now than he was some time ago. Lost the ball by Walters, picked up by Daly. Keeps it going quickly over there to Walters. Then outside to Stewart. Here's danger. Stewart through the gap. Ricky Stewart's away. Flicks it back inside. Got to be taken by Meninga. Got it to Martin. Martin got it back to Belcher. Big stuff. Belcher going for the line, but blocked out.
Well and truly, Brock. Chris Johns on the try line.
But the Raiders keep it going now. Stewart looking to get in behind the line. Works it right over the top. Here's trouble if Daly takes it. He does. He gets it away to Lazarus. It's got to be a try. Lazarus over and in.
Out of front rowers score tries from 20 metres out. Well, you get to the try line, and anyone coming, you just pack up. The big fellow bulk against Hancock. But once again, we see the Raiders in possession. It took a mistake from Kevin Walters within 6 tackles. Now, here's Walters' mistake here. He tries to flick the ball out the back, and it was just knocked down, picked up quickly by Daly. And watch Canberra always move the ball away from the ruck play. Here it is. This is brilliant out here. Look at Stewart. The gap was there. Johns came up too quickly. Johns somehow gets back to make this final tackle. Flick past to Meninga. Held off momentarily. There's Martin back on the inside. And watch this last tackle on the try line. John, beautiful stuff head on. but then Canberra aren't finished. Ricky Stewart once again makes sure, even though Brisbane come up offside, that he's going to get the ball out wide. He won't be stopped. Have a look at this. Make sure, look, searching across. Brisbane are up in his road, but he pops the pass over the top. Daly can't be stopped by Willie Card. Lazarus, now watch here, Hancock from the far wing. Lazarus says, well, look, I'm too big for you. You might come across, but you won't stop me.
So Canberra dead set make it level at 18 all, and now Mal Meninga to try and get them to the lead. 3 from 3 for Mal Meninga, the perfect record. There's Gene Miles with his crew back in the in-goal area. Well, some of them not quite back in the in-goal area, actually.
They should be, Bill. They're actually supposed to be behind the try. Meninga
has booted them to the lead. Canberra go to a lead now of 20 points to 18. And what a comeback. 19 and a half minutes remaining in the match as the Broncos take the tap right on the quarter line with Kieran Walters sending it back to Dowling, back to Walters. It was slow motion stuff there for a while. Gene Miles trying to do something. Gets the one-header pass to Willie Kahn. He'll cut back inside. Both Daly and Ferguson there to take him. Miles to dummy half. Kieran Walters. Then Hoff. Big tall fullback trying to find a way through, but no chance through there. To Dowling. Dowling outside to Gavin Allen. He's up over the halfway mark. Mark Hone is going like crazy to stay with him. He does. He goes to ground with it. He was really working away, was Mark Hone, to try and catch up. But Dowling, now they keep it going. Back to Kevin Walters. He's going to be wrapped up in centre field.
Thought it was touched by Canberra. Eddie Ward didn't spot it. No recount started.
Kieran Walters away from dummy half. Back inside to his brother forward. Kevin, but forward.
Brisbane getting fancy, but looking good at the same time. Dowling heavily involved in that passage of play. We see here Kerrod dashing out of the dummy half. Kevin had played the ball. He tries to support. Marginally forward. Loose head and feed the Raiders.
Ricky Stewart about to feed this scrum. It's right on the Canberra quarter line. So Canberra lead by 20 to 18. And Wood trying to find a way through, but it's going to be put to the ground. He's lost the ball. Miles going at it, but play on, says a referee. Touched by the opposition.
Daly's got it.
Well, he did have it. He still has. Now a penalty to Canberra.
Interfering then in the play the ball. Gene Miles it was who kicked the ball away, not in an onside position. Here's a chance for the Raiders. They've absorbed some pressure. There's Peter Jackson. He'll play no further part in the match after injuring a shoulder. He played well while he was on there.
Canberra getting the only 3 penalties awarded in the second half.
And the penalties now favour the Raiders by 10-5.
So now it's Ricky Stewart to kick for touch. And he's going to find it a couple of metres inside Broncos territory. So Canberra to take up the attack from there. 17 and a half minutes to go in this match. And Canberra with a lead of 20 to 18. Lazarus put over 5 metres inside Broncos territory.
Well, it's a great credit to this Canberra side, the way they've fought back, because they look gone for all money. And as you mentioned earlier in the first half, there's only one side of the premiership that can come back from a start like that.
Yes, this is Stanton. He broke out of a couple of tackles. He's coming up to Alan Langer. Got away from Langer. Kieran Walters got him. Got the pass to Belcher. Belcher's going to be put down. But it's Canberra on the attack again. Walters back over to Stewart. Outside then to Wood. To Meninga. Meninga starting to motor on. He gets it back inside to Daly. Just as well he slipped over. He got up, started to go again. He bashed straight into one of the Broncos players. Went to kick through. Takes it through on the toe. The ball rolling through. Does it touch by Lazarus?
That's a try.
Yeah, no.
Just dead, Bill. In actual fact, I thought he may have even looked at a penalty try because the big centre and Laurie Daly was brought down in the in-goal area. Let's have a look at it. There's Daly getting up after initially being held. Grubber kicks it through. Now, is he knocked over here as he tries to get the ball? Well, I think he could have scored that. And have a look at Eddie Ward right on the spot. Lazarus grounds it. Definitely dead, the ball. And we've got an injured player for the Broncos.
Gina.
Cop the boot.
There's Alan Cann coming onto the field to take the place of the Broncos captain, Gene Miles, who is just leaving with quite a cut to the head. He got a boot, an accidental boot, as he went in to try and stop Laurie Daly. And he will probably be going to the head bin, although there's quite a little blood coming from his forehead at this stage.
Alan Cann should be pretty used to this situation. He's been sub 4 times this year, having made his debut against Manly earlier in 1990.
So back it comes to Terry Madison. So Walters comes up as dummy half. Langer. Now he's pinged Canberra for being offside.
Well, and the crowd here in the outer jump to their feet and cheer it. It's a long time since Brisbane have had a penalty, certainly none in the second half. Penalties now 10-6 in favour of the Raiders. Here's a chance for the Broncos.
And Alan Langer just took the decision to take the kick himself. Didn't worry. Well, Gino's not there. I suppose Greg Dowling would be captain. I wouldn't say that for sure, but Alan Langer just took over anyway. It was probably the right move because now they're on the attack. Gene Miles definitely in the head bin. So Walters to Dowling. Dowling to Walters, doubling around. Ooh, Madison. But he's going to be wrapped up over there by Stewart. They decide to work that left side again. Now Kevin Walters back to Kieran. Then away to Shearer. Shearer trying to find a way through on that far side, but it's going to be put down. From the play the ball, back onto Dowling. Dowling charging his way up. He's unloaded it. Madison got it. He got it back to Kevin Walters. He's trying to slip his way through. Still going. Oh, taken over there high by Johns. They've retained the ball. Shearer with no, knock on, he says.
The ball went forward, says Eddie Ward. One of the Canberra players is down on the ground, flat in his back. The players are appealing. No way Eddie Ward could have spotted. Let's have a look at this. This could have been a high tackle there on Johns. No, okay by Belcher. Here's the pass out the back. The ball had been knocked forward. There's Eddie Ward signalling. There it is in back play. Shearer there involved in the tackle. Play on. Dean Lancet is the injured player.
He appeared to have copped an elbow from Dale Shearer. Scrum feed. Canberra under pressure. Stanton is the player that gets to his feet. He was the player that was involved with Dale Shearer. Committed defence by Brisbane now as they pin Canberra on their own goal line. Coming out of dummy half is Lazarus. He just bumped off some feeble defence. And finally it was Shearer that wrapped him up.
Had a strong game, Lazarus.
That should have been a penalty. An incorrect play the ball by mine. Play on the quarter line. The Broncos trail by 20-18. Watch for Stewart with the big kick downfield. It's over the head of Willie Kahn. It's going towards the touchline. Kahn did well. Now, he'll take on Ferguson. Can't beat the veteran winger. Well, he may turn 36 next week, Johnny Ferguson. But what a great campaigner he's been. A score of over 100 first-grade tries in his stints with Newtown Eastern Suburbs and with the Canberra Raiders. He's come up with 9 this year as Johns works out of dummy half. He's made a good break. He left it behind him for Walters. He's backed up with his twin brother Kevin. Now Paul Hoff, taken by Daly. Good defence by the Canberra three-quarter. Now Madison skirts out of dummy half. Got the pass away to Johns. Johns looked for the support of Walters. Couldn't find it. 13 minutes of play remain. 20 points to 18 on the final tackle now for the Broncos. Langer back in field. Kept it alive, Dowling. And Dowling taken by Ferguson. The turnover of possession.
Brisbane elected to run it. I think the right decision there. They had a chance. Here's Canberra's reply.
Yeah, they've got the counter-attack going. And good solid defence coming in from Alan Cann. And a change in the Raiders' side. Tony Durkin once again.
Reserve grade hooker Wayne Collins, a very experienced player coming on for Stuart Stanton.
So Stanton injured in that earlier incident. Wayne Collins will come on, which probably will mean that Steve Walters will go back to the second row. And probably Dean Lance to lock.
Well, they certainly couldn't replace Steve Walters. He had a sensational game. Here's the Raiders.
Here's Mal Meninga. Oh, good defence. Dale Shearer wrapped him up beautifully. Stewart, the long pass. Lance. Then it goes out to Wood. Loose on the ground. Walters a chance. Good defence though. Wood came back to wrap him up. 12 and a half remain. Madison for Kahn. Taken with a great tackle by Dean Lance. To think he thought he was going to retire after that grand final success last year.
Well, Tim Sheens and the Canberra teammates will be very satisfied that he didn't.
He was the grand final skipper in 87. Just an old-fashioned second row forward, really, David, is he? But very, very effective.
He sure is. He balances this Raiders side. You can't have all players with flair.
Now Langer, Hoff. This is a young man with flair. Support on both sides. Hoff got away from the test fullback. Belcher and scores the try. The Broncos back in the lead. And Paul Hoff, magnificent. 6th try of the year. Chris Johns loves him. Look at that.
Alan Langer.
To 32,000 people.
This little man set it up, and Paul Hoff went all the way. Look at him, he beats Laurie Daly pointlessly. When you sidestep with these sort of legs, you go a long way. He had Willie Kahn on the outside, but had the confidence to take on Belcher. Belcher hardly laid a hand on him. The big fellow scoots across, and what a fine try, Wally Lewis.
Yes, David, it certainly was Alan Langer that set it up. He put Hoppy in there, but what a magnificent sidestep. He took off, he left Laurie Daly cold, and to beat Gary Belcher, that's one of the biggest raps you could ever give a man, and did it with one boot off as well. How fast is this bloke? It's impossible to tell just how quick he's running because he strides about 13 metres at a time. But certainly just what the Broncos needed at that stage, because we were starting to do it very tough. It seemed as though we were really bashing ourselves up against a wall without success, but that may give us just the confidence we need to hang on now. I think it's very important that Gino gets back on the field as quickly as possible, because a captain is a very responsible man in a situation like this. He really needs to control play, set up the pattern we've got to stick to for the rest of the time. And David, as you said before, our kicking game hasn't been all that successful. That's what we need more than anything at the moment.
I think 32,000 people will tell the story. It's going to be disappointment for them, disappointment for Dale Shearer. It's waved away. The Broncos in the lead by 22 points to 20.
Well, Walters gets it back to Madison. Madison unloads it to Mark Hone. Hone bulldozes up over the halfway mark. That's the sort of stuff David Wright's talking about. Through the legs of Walters. He eventually goes back and retrieves in front of Terry Madison, but is put down 10 metres inside Canberra territory. The final tackle to Alan Langer. He's going to drive it down for touch, and it is going to find it.
Perfect tactics there from Alan Langer. That position on the field, no chance do you give Gary Belcher a shot at running the ball back. Wayne Bennett would be extremely happy with that result. He angled for touch, found it 10 metres out. It'll be loose head and feed the Raiders, but there's Langer calling the shots from the half-back position. They're going to watch the wide pass.
So in by Stewart. He'll send it out over there to Daly. Then across to Wood. Wood's going to be wrapped up, a two-way tackle.
This is where you go for the second effort. This is where you're feeling tired, but you just got to keep going.
Stewart gets it away to Gary Belcher. Belcher bumps away from Alfie. Can't get away from Kieran Walters. He's had a top game also today.
Well, this is what Wayne Bennett said when they came out at half-time, Bill. They've got to be physically and mentally tough. This is the time they've got to show it.
Yeah, but they've got to put that man Lazarus on the ground, because that gives the opportunity otherwise for players like Barnhill to break away. So away from dummy half, Daly to Meninga. He celebrates his 30th birthday next week. He'd love to have started tonight. At this stage, he's a little bit behind the 8 ball. A couple of points separating the two teams. To Stewart. Then across to Lazarus. He slips over. Get him, GD, before he goes. Juggled by Stewart. Stewart works around again. He's still coming over here on this side. Then he sends it back inside to Wood. Wood's tackled by Hone, but they keep it alive. No, lost by Belcher, straight into the hands of Dowling.
What a great game the big fellow Greg Dowling has had, and he was there on the spot to save the day for the Broncos. There it is. Canberra trying to keep it alive. Belcher tapped it up. Dowling there to snatch it.
Well, he's a bit injured after that too. But as you said at the start, David, he had to be one of the men to take it up to the day. He's done the job.
He certainly has, Bill. He was the man, the most experienced forward amongst this pack. He's shown the way. The others have followed.
Alan Langer delayed the pass, then dummied, cut his way through, still going. Got away to Kevin Walters. Kevin Walters pulled down just inside the quarter line. They've got to settle it, not go too mad. Out it goes to Langer again. The little fella's stepping up the centre, trying to unload the ball. It rolls out, dived on by Madison. Final tackle coming up. Dummy half is Walters. 6.5 minutes remaining. Walters to Langer. Langer, taken by Dean Lance. That man in the headgear in again, ball and all, and that's wiped him out.
Well, Bill, I gave credit for Langer before for picking the wrong option. That was certainly not it. Lance certainly gave him no time, but someone should have been deep to kick the football.
Here's Laurie Daly on the go, gets it outside. Martin chased by Hancock. This is a classic battle. Hancock comes at him and mows him down.
And a great tackle too.
What a place to do it in front of a packed Frank Burke grandstand.
And here's Canberra on the bustle again. You've got to watch people like Daly. You've got to watch this bloke too. Ferguson up the centre, pull down just on the quarter line.
Here come the Raiders.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the match. Out it comes this time to Daly. Daly props, goes back the other way, over the top to Ferguson, trying to get involved, but put down inside that quarter. Dummy half Walters. Walters getting it back to Stewart. Stewart delays a pass. Now he gets it to Belcher. Belcher going to be pulled down. He sends it back inside. How he got away, I don't know. Walters keeps it going. Walters stepping through. Out of a couple of tackles. Back it goes to Stewart. Stewart over the top to Ferguson. Ferguson burrows down, but he's held out a couple of metres out. They've got Menderburn on the left. Canberra with the final tackle. If they run it out, this is the go for them. Stewart, the long one over there to Lazarus.
Lazarus. Lazarus put down, lost by Wood. Broncos ball dived on by Khan.
Fantastic passage of play. Raiders have taken it from one end of the field to the other. That was the last chance they had on the sixth tackle. Brisbane just got there.
And I tell you what, Brisbane were very lucky they didn't concede a penalty because all the outside backs were yards offside. But they stuck in there. An injured player, Eddie Ward, will make sure play will be restarted in field as Greg Dowling gets to his feet.
What a tackle by that man. Dale Shearer on Ferguson right on the try line. Not many people could stop Ferguson from there.
We're into the final 5 minutes. The news from the Broncos dressing room is that Gene Miles will not be back. So they'll have to do it without their skipper in the final 5 minutes. Langer got it back in field. Walters, Karen Walters, support of Khan on the outside. But Ferguson came back beautifully. They'll move it. Shearer.
Lost it.
Now Barnhill.
Well, we're all over the park here.
Defence must get there. Hoff unsettled him. Got it away. Good solid defence on Martin. Wally Lewis biting the fingernails yet on the sideline.
There's not too much of him left at the moment, David. It certainly is an exciting game. Well, I think we're going to see Canberra spreading the ball at every opportunity we possibly can at the moment. It's just important that the Broncos stay in one straight line and cover across the field. As soon as we come out of the line, we present an opportunity for a Canberra bloke to run into a hole.
The game has had everything.
There it is. He should be there again, but the big fellow, Greg Dowling, to clean it up.
1.5 minutes play has elapsed since the clock has stopped, so that means 3.5 remain here at Lang Park. They led by 18-8, the Broncos at half-time. They trailed by 20-18, but they have clawed their way back through that incredible try by the replacement fullback, Paul Hoff. That's Can, the replacement. He's lost the football.
Knocked it on as well, Eddie Ward decides. Scrum right on the halfway line. Here's another replacement for the Raiders. Tony Durkham on the touchline.
The veteran Ashley Gilbert, who was almost cut from the Canberra club at the start of this season, is on for the Kiwi international, Brent Todd.
Well, if he can win the game for him, he'll be a life member.
Well, he ruled initially that Lazarus was the first man to knock it on. Now the feed has gone to Canberra, and it goes away. It's Stewart on the wraparound. Danger time for the Broncos. He links up with Martin. Step back infield from Shearer.
Lost it.
Shearer unsettled him. He's lost the football. And Dale Shearer ripped the ball out on that high tackle.
Well, that was from a scrum, and Alan Cairn, the second row, has got over there to clean up the ball. Brisbane are desperate. Well, they might be. Only minutes were remaining in the match. Brisbane still lead by 22-20.
Dowling. Around about 2 minutes to go. Yes, slowly to his feet. And may well he should be. He's had a magnificent game. So too has Allen. The two Walters boys combine. And Kevin Walters takes the ball to 32 out from the Canberra goal line. Canberra appear to be tiring. The Broncos look as though they may have got extra legs. They must control the football though. They move it wide with Johns. Loses his footing. Comes back the other way. Tries to shrug a tackle. This will be the final tackle. What will the Broncos' tactics be? The crowd right behind them here at Lang Park. Langer attempts the drop goal.
I don't know why. That is, I just can't believe that for a tactic. They're in front by 2 points. Now Canberra with the ball on the 22-metre line. That's disastrous tactics. Here go the Raiders again.
They've got a minute and a half, the Raiders, to try and snatch this game out of the fire. They had a perfect record against the Broncos before they came into this top-of-the-table clash in 1990. They won in 1988 by 36-16, handing out the biggest defeat to the Broncos in their short history. Last year they won 27-6 at Seaford. At the moment they trail by 22 points to 20. Brisbane hanging on in desperate defence. This Canberra side is never done. They move it with Belcher. He threw the dummy, which Langer went for it, and they've ruled him on an obstruction, a shepherd. Well, that's a controversial decision.
It'll win the game for Brisbane, or it'll decide the game for Brisbane. Brisbane have won it on their merits, but there, Gary Belcher running in behind one of his own players, in the opinion of Eddie Ward, and with only seconds remaining in the match now,
Less than 30, in fact, David, and the Broncos will use up every one of those seconds. They're going to take the 2 points on offer. Well, what a match we've had. It's going to put Brisbane on top of the table for the first time this year in the Winfield Cup after 14 rounds. I would say most of the critics would have had Canberra the favourites going into this match. They started brilliantly, the Broncos. They got away to a great lead. To their credit, Canberra came storming back. They went to the lead to the tune of 20 points to 18. Then Alan Langer inspired a move down the right-hand side. The replacement fullback Paul Hoff chimed in to score his 6th try of the year. None more important than that one.
There's the cheer squad. They've been working overtime today. They're going to cheer their team on to victory. Great performances in the Broncos side. Dowling, Walters and Allen, the front row, played magnificently. Miles, while he was on there, was really to the fore. Alan Langer back to his best form, no doubt about that. Kevin Walters, the perfect link man. The back line with Shearer at fullback looked good. Peter Jackson, when he was on there. Hoff, of course, scored the winning try. Canberra, I think, best served by Stephen Walters, who had an outstanding game. Ricky Stewart, some good ball movement. But really, Brisbane have just come over the top of the Raiders. They played extremely well today.
Well, the Bullets beat the Cannons in Canberra last night. And it seems the Broncos are on target to defeat the Raiders here today at Lang Park. The kick is wide, but it won't matter because the full-time siren is about to sound and 32,000 people erupt. The cheer girls are elated. I'm sure Wayne Bennett is. The Broncos have broken the Canberra hoodoo. They've struck a huge psychological blow for the playoffs later this year. Greg Dowling salutes his other team members. The Broncos go on top of the Winfield Cup after 14 rounds. They have come from behind to defeat the the Raiders, by 22 points to 20 in a marvellous example of rugby league here in front of 32,000 people at Lang Park.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports.